Amber. Welcome to this week's vlog. If you're new here, I make videos about kind of crunchy motherhood, lifestyle, trying to get pregnant with baby number 2. And if you like that sort of content, I'd love to see you around here more often. Just hit that little subscribe button down below. It's Wednesday, and I had every intention of vlogging this entire week, but the start of the week was kind of rough, and so I just wasn't feeling very motivated. And then yesterday, I was tired. I had a semi-early appointment at our fertility clinic, which kind of goes with my update about why the week started out rough. And I had a headache, so I was like, oh, okay. So today I am feeling better, feeling more motivated, so I figured I will just take you with me through the next few days, so you'll get like half a week. The first order of business today and pretty much every day after breakfast is to get the dishes done, because I cannot leave plates, bowls, nothing that has even a little bit of food on it, grease, nothing, because my younger cat will immediately be up here trying to get it. And it's so funny just to see the difference between her and my older cat, because my older one, she just never did that kind of a thing. But I need to do that. I need to get myself dressed. Kai's already dressed. And then I want to trim the ends off of these cut flowers that I snipped from our lilac bush over the weekend. They were looking so good. It's only been a few days. They were looking really, really good. And then all of a sudden last night they started drooping. So I'm gonna try to just like re-snip the end and see if that helps them absorb some new water. Every few days, I'll find a handful of leaves from my raspberry plants like this that the squirrels just yank off and leave there. And last year, I saw them doing that a couple times. And so we put chicken wire around every single raspberry plant. And it was getting kind of difficult towards the end of the season because, okay, go ahead, because they were outgrowing those little cages. But this year, they are coming back so abundantly. There are new canes popping up everywhere that I'm not even worried at all about this little bit of damage that the rabbits do, which is a great feeling to have. Just gonna throw them right in the compost bin. I'm outside right now, Kai's napping, and I'm trying to strategically rearrange and pot up some of my seedlings. So I have this cherry tomato plant. The root is starting to grow out of the bottom of this peat pot, which I feel like it probably could stay in here for a while longer, but I am seeing a little bit of yellowing. So I've been giving my bigger seedlings diluted fertilizer, and there's also a little bit of compost and earthworm castings in this soil that I've been mixing myself. I need another pot for this little sage seedling that kind of just came up, but it already, you can't really see it, it already has a good sized root growing out the bottom of here. I mean, it's gonna need to be potted up in the next few days anyway, so I figured now's probably a good time. And I'm putting the cherry tomato plant in this one, so I mean, it's not that much bigger than what it's already in, which I think is good. Like, you don't want to go too big too quickly, but I need this. So I'm nervous about the root growing out the literal bottom of this, like not the drainage hole, it's growing through this. And so the longer that I let that go on, the more worried I am about damaging the root system when I do need to pot this up. I decided to take like a 45-minute nap. I'm exhausted, but I have to show you this. I just hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm so excited. This has been a huge goal of mine for the past 2 years. I mean, since I started this channel, it's been a goal. But I mean, you know, when you start a channel at first, I was like, okay, let's just like focus on 100 subscribers and then 500 subscribers. But there have been so many moments where it felt like this was never gonna happen. Like I was never gonna get here. And I know in the scheme of things, 1,000 subscribers isn't like that many, but the one thing I always come back to when I feel like I'm not growing fast enough as a creator is imagine being in a room with every subscriber or follower or whatever that you have. And like that always kind of puts it in perspective for me. And so anyway, I just want to say thank you so much. If you have watched my videos, like, commented, but like especially if you subscribe to my channel, thank you so much for being here, for supporting me, and for helping me get to this point. Just thank you so much. Okay, but on a different note, my lilac blooms never perked up. I was really hopeful that snipping off more off the ends and replacing the water would help them. So if you know what happened here or what I could do, please let me know in the comments, because I looked it up and what I did is what the internet told me to do. So, and they're not dying. Like a lot of these haven't even opened yet. So I don't know what happened, but I'm sad because they looked really pretty for like 2 days and now they look like this, but I don't want to throw them out. They smell good still, so at least I have that going on. Apparently it's supposed to snow tomorrow, so I'm going to attempt to lightly cover up my raspberries just to be safe.
Through the arbor, in the garden room, wings are beating, baby, me and you alone. Pencil drawing phases of the moon, all through the stages, both becoming seen into
this morning the forecast said rain and not snow. Did not look like it was gonna snow at all. And I was like, okay, well, rain would be great for my seedlings, my plants, everything that's out there. So I went and uncovered everything. It's snowing. So I guess we're just going to let nature take its course. I'm not worried about the strawberries or the raspberries dying completely because they're made for the cold. I mean, like, they're not made for the cold. They're cold hardy plants, but I'm just worried about all the progress that they've made. All right, but in other news, the reason that the start to the week was hard was because I started my period, which is nothing new, of course. We've been trying. I think this is our 20th month now, so that was our 19th cycle. I'm pretty sure, but I am losing count. It was one of those cycles, which I don't have many of these, where I wasn't certain that I was pregnant by any means, but I was starting to lean a little bit more towards maybe I'm pregnant more than I'm probably not. And I'm pretty good generally at not symptom spotting. The thing that was different about this last cycle, and it wasn't actually the last cycle, it was just the last few days, is that, okay, to back up just a smidge. My luteal phase is 12 days on average, sometimes 11, sometimes 13. It's never 14 days on my own. On letrozole, it was 14 days for 3 out of the 4 cycles that I did. So when I know roughly when I ovulate, I know roughly when I'm going to start my period. And this last cycle, I decided not to track anything. It is the first cycle since Alex and I started trying for another baby that I didn't track basal body temperature. I didn't check my cervix. I didn't check cervical fluid other than what I observed when I would like pee and wipe. I didn't take any LH strips, nothing. Based on just what I know about my body and what happens around the time I ovulate, I had or have an idea of the day that I ovulated. So I went ahead and just like marked that as probably my ovulation day. So based on that, I knew roughly when I was going to start my period. And I thought I was going to start my period last Thursday or Friday, but Friday was the day that I was like, if that's probably going to be it. So Thursday, I started feeling mild cramps and they would like come and go. And so I was like, okay, I'm probably going to start my period tonight. Didn't start my period. Friday comes, same thing. I was feeling a little bit crampy on and off throughout the day, but like very, very mild. And it would be like crampy for an hour or so and then nothing for an hour or so. And it was just like that all day. So again, I was like, okay, yeah, today I'm probably going to start my period. Didn't come. Then Saturday came and I had almost no cramping on Saturday at all. I actually don't think I had any. So at that point, I was like, okay, this is really weird. I normally don't get crampy that far out from my period. Generally, it's a few hours, if not minutes before the onset, but like hours is the max. So on Saturday, when I wasn't feeling crampy at all and still hadn't started my period, I was like, could I be pregnant? And I wasn't sure. I was kind of like 60% maybe I'm pregnant and 40% I'm probably not at that point. And I told Alex at the end of the day that I was nervous to even vocalize this because if I start my period, I'm going to feel stupid. But I told him what was going on and I told him that I don't want to get hopeful yet, but that this is feeling more like early pregnancy. This is resembling what happened when I was in the 2-week wait when I was pregnant before, more than what it feels like before I start my period. And he was like, okay, let's just not think about it too much. Let's just live our lives. He was like, wait an entire week. And if you don't start your period, then take a pregnancy test. 1 second. You keep going, keep drawing. Early Sunday morning, we were still in bed. I started getting crampy again, and it was also very mild, but I don't know. I just kind of had like a feeling, and I started to feel really, really anxious. I think because like for some reason I knew I was going to find out if I was pregnant or not, like right then and there. I knew for whatever reason that this is gonna be the moment that I go to the bathroom and either there's gonna be nothing or there's going to be something. And so I kind of just laid in bed panicking for a little bit. And then finally I was like, okay, well, I might as well just get up and get on with it. And I went to the bathroom, went pee, and sure enough, there was blood. And so it just really felt defeating and it kind of crushed me a little bit. Not because I was certain that I was pregnant, but I had that little bit of hope. And I was hoping a little extra also because we had already decided that we were gonna do a medicated, monitored IUI cycle if I wasn't pregnant. And so I was just like, how amazing would it be if I got pregnant and we didn't have to do it and we could cancel it? And because I knew that was gonna be our last chance to have a baby this year. And I remember being at this point last year and feeling really nervous about March because of that same thing, because I felt like this is our last chance to have a baby for this year. I really didn't think that we'd be here an entire year later saying the same thing, that like now there's no way, there's no chance that we can have a baby at all until 2027. And so, I don't know. It's just so hard. It's so hard. And like, it's of course like it seems like everyone is pregnant or having babies when you're trying to have a baby. And it felt like that both times around, but this time is just so much harder because now it's like there have been so many people that I've known and not known that have not just been pregnant, but like been pregnant, had babies. Their babies are turning 1 now, or like they're pregnant, they're going to have a baby for sure within the time that we've been trying. And like, there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, that is a normal thing. It's just hard to see and witness and be around. And, you know, of course, like you can't make it their problem if it's someone that you know. Like it's not. Okay. So anyway, that's what happened. And I'll keep you posted on what happens with this cycle and the IUI and all of that. But I'm going to stop talking about it now because it's just hard to talk about. Crumpets clotted cream and jam is one of my favorite things to make in the morning for breakfast. It is just so easy and so good, and it feels a little fancy, a little bit different, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm gonna try my best next week to vlog as much of the IUI process as I can, as I'm allowed to. So if that's something that you are interested in, make sure to stay tuned. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.